Whoa Dust Goldman by Macwood Fleet, of course. Not as difficult to play as you may think, which makes it the perfect softball Sunday selection, or S cubed, as they say in the old country. But before we go adding this to your repertoire, I'd like to take a quick moment to thank the following people for signing up for the Patreon supporter of the Cause Club: BW, Joe Reeves, Sean Byrne, Rumsby, and Mike Marikian. Thank you very, very much for your support. And if you would like to find out what that's all about, the link will be in the description. Big thanks to my buddy Coleman for bringing this song to my mind yesterday. Okay, if you want, you can put your guitar in drop D to play this song. You don't have to, but if you do, you'll get to do two extra really cool things. So drop D, we're going to take our E string and lower it until it's a D note. So you could play a D chord, and then just hit your E string, and go down until it kind of matches, and then check with your tuner. And yeah, I was pretty close. We're now in drop D. For your intro, you're going to make a ho-hum D chord, but we're not going to play the baby E string at all, so don't even bother to fret it if you don't want to. We're strumming three strings, D, G, and B. At which point, the G string is going up to 3. You do it a bunch of times, then you hit your D chord, let it ring out, and then we proceed to the verse. By the way, music theory geeks, guilty. That second chord, that 3-3 chord, you could think of that as one of two things. If you have a normal D chord, you could think of it like we're taking this A note and making it one fret higher. That makes a D augmented chord, or D with a sharpened fifth. And if you have that F sharp, it's the O darlin' chord. Or you could think of it as a B flat chord, because you notice when we play B flat, which we're not going to do, don't worry, we've got a D note in there, and we've got the B flat note, so adding another D to the bottom makes it a D, B flat, D voiced B flat chord. Voicinged. There's one for you. Anyway, let's call it B flat. On to the verse then. Regular D, the whole thing now. On to G, but if you chose to put yourself in drop D, we can't play the whole G because listen. It makes it a G7 chord. That's not what we want. So you just don't get to play your low string. It's just this much. To C add 9, which means the A string is going up 1. You can do the D string 2nd fret too if you like. Back to G. You do it once. D, G, C, G, and then you do your intro. And that's how the verse goes. Verse progression, intro. Verse progression, intro. And sometimes this is one of the two reasons we might want to be in drop D. When he goes back to the intro, he does an EBS, an epic backward strum on the D chord with the open E string, so it's a D sus2 now, all the way through all the strings. So do that. I encourage it. Back to the verse now for a second. There's a little move that you hear a couple of times through the song, and it's on the second G chord. You're going to hit the open A string, hammer onto 2, and then pluck the open D string. D, G, C, G, and do it again. So you can throw that in anytime you want. And there's this one from the intro that you only hear once, but you should do it more than once. It's fun. Off the 3-5-3, slide, slide. I have trouble doing it with these fingers that I'm using. I just can't get it very crisp, so I switched to just one finger, but however you want to do it is great. That's great. Make You Cry, Make You Break Down. This may remind you of December by Collective Soul, by Smashing Soul. I don't know what was about to come out of my mouth. Anyways, it's going to be the B string 3rd fret and the A string 1st fret. A string up to 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and D. So, 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, in that loop for as long as it lasts. And the whole end of the song, of course, is just droning D jam action involving your intro thing, but here's some things you may throw into that thing. D string, 3-0, A string, 3-0, used to be E string. Always give that a little almost bend when you do that move, so if you can picture it. Fill the time. You could go 3-2-0, 3-2-0, 3-0 on. You could add that to it or mix it any which way you want. All kinds of fun stuff to do there. And that's about all I can think of to say about that. So go forth and become the fleetiest Mac of your Wood Street. Thank you so much for being here. If you think a playthrough would help your learning process, you're going to find such a thing on my Patreon page. And of course, I'll see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.